Good day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan Battle video. In this video we are taking a look at the Otherworld Warriors challenge for the legendary Vegeta event. So this is the Fighting Legend Vegeta event, and we are taking a look at how you can complete it with the Otherworld Warriors category. Now, this is a little bit of a strange team build, and we're going to run through it, but we're relying a lot on the power of the friend lead here. But I thought it would be a pretty cool way to show how you can beat the challenge without necessarily utilizing the #1 pick or using a full team of the covering category. So I thought it would be a pretty cool way to take a look at everything. Obviously, this is before any potential easy A's for the LR Gogeta, which would help out significantly. So if you are struggling, there will be some easy A's around the corner that you can obviously run. But yes, for the most part, we are going to be running this team under some pretty interesting leads and yeah, just some interesting mechanics overall, I guess. Not really too much I can actually say. This was a pretty fun challenge to do. I think it's probably still one of the more challenging ones, just because of the Otherworld Warriors category's wonkiness, so to say. I think that's generally probably the best way to describe it in any way, shape, or form. There's just a very big level of disparity in how the actual team runs, which I think, you know, is bound to happen with a category that's got like Paikuhan, Grandpa Gohan, Veku, Gokus, and Gogetas, along with Freezes as well. Now, this isn't to say this is the only team build that you can run. You can very much run a whole bunch of other team builds if you see fit. But generally speaking, I found that this was the best one to kind of run with. At least for me, I found that it was the best one, but it is just going to depend on yourself. It's going to depend on what you run, what your box looks like. There is an extreme side to this. There are some very good other options, and we will run through them for the event. But yeah, basically just a full disclaimer, this is not necessarily the best team to do this. This is just a team that I managed to be able to do it with without it being too difficult. It did take a couple attempts. I think it took me 2 or 3 attempts overall, but yeah, for the most part it was pretty straightforward. So let's run through the team, starting from the very top of the list, the leader of our team, the Paikuhan. So Paikuhan, the AGL Paikuhan, is a connected hope lead of 170%. The reason why he's so very good is his unit super attack can basically be activated when there is a Goku or a Vegeta Angel unit attacking in the same turn, which means we can really proc this quite a lot. The good thing about the unit super attack is basically its attack effective against all types, which really helps out in terms of overall damage. In terms of his passive, it's pretty good. He has attack and defense of 150%. He gives superclass allies 2 key and 30% attack and defense with 3 or more key spheres. And he also has key +4 and a high chance of evading the enemy's super attack when he picks up a single rainbow key sphere. So his passive is a lot more accessible, I would say, than his counterpart Tech Janemba. Although Tech Janemba overall I think is the much better individual unit, Paikuhan is a unit that really excels with the support he gives to the rotation. The reason we're taking Paikuhan is that he's 170% lead for Connected Hope, which covers a lot of our team, but he's also a full superclass 130% lead, which is great because that's going to really coincide with our friend lead. And now we'll talk about the friend lead because that's the second most important part of this event. So the friend lead is a power beyond Super Saiyan or movie heroes 170% lead, Super Saiyan God Goku and Super Saiyan God Vegeta. Obviously they're the brand new LR that's recently come out for the 7th anniversary. They're very good. And the thing that makes them so very good for this team is that although they are not Otherworld Warriors, remember they do not count, but they actually cover the rest of this team, because the majority of this team is Super Saiyan 2 units or movie heroes units. So you either have Super Saiyan 3 or Super Saiyan 2, or you have movie heroes, which means that they are fortunately all covered by the lead skill here, which is very, very good. Not only that, those that aren't covered by the Connected Hope category of Paikuhan will be receiving the 30% Kamehameha boost. So overall, it works out to pretty much most units on the team effectively running under 160% lead, which is pretty good, just considering. But yeah, overall is a really nice kind of workaround if you are kind of struggling with this stage in particular. Now to briefly touch on everyone else, obviously the friend lead, you guys know everything about them. Super Saiyan God Goku and Super Saiyan God Vegeta, they will have additional 77% attack and defense. They guard all attacks on their first turn. They're going to slowly stack up, pretty quickly stack up, and we're going to eventually transform them so that we can obviously do a huge amount of damage. They're going to be very good in the final phase, because obviously Vegeta is AGL during that phase. Now, full disclaimer, you're basically heavily reliant on them to do a lot of the work. So if you are looking for a team that's very evenly split, this is not that team. You are relying super duper heavily on the friend lead. So if you can get a rainbow friend lead, the better. Take the highest friend lead you can, check their equipment, hope that they're level linked. They are going to be doing a lot of heavy lifting, so it's very crucial that you make sure that they obviously are as powerful as possible. We are going to be trying to link them up with the physical Gogeta, who, as you have noticed, has transformed already. This is definitely part of the plan, not unintentional in any way, shape or form. No, but we do bring the physical Gogeta for the healing ability. Obviously, as old as the third year LRs are, and although they are due their Extreme Z Awakening, they still just about managed to get things done here. Obviously mine is rainbowed, so I can't really comment too much about anything else. They are very, very strong and very, very good already, and I think you do probably need them. You do need them with 2 dupes, I think, to make them work specifically in this team build, because you're going to need majority defense on a lot of your units. Tech Gogeta, just 55%, very good unit. Try not to transform him, try to save the heal for as late as possible. Obviously the ability to foresee super attacks as well, but just or the damage reduction, sorry, and just everything very, very good. The Gogeta, obviously, we're trying our very best, but Gogeta at 55% does a decent enough job. I want to say does a very decent job, but we try to save the heal as much as possible, because the heal is something we're definitely going to need, like very much definitely going to need. Also tech type, so obviously the final phase means that Gogeta is going to be super duper rock solid, which is always great. So for the most part, not too concerned, but I would say you definitely need Gogeta. I think his heal and his ability to foresee super attacks, his ability to tank really, really well at 55% because of the damage reduction, all of those mechanics really, really helps him out a lot. And I think, for the most part, you definitely should be running him. I think he does do a really great job. And I think overall, he's very, very solid. Also, no type disadvantage for the last 3 phases, the last 2 phases. So that does generally help out quite a bit. Then we get to some of the slightly less promising units. So we have the physical Super Saiyan 2 Angel Vegeta, pretty solid, and LR obviously actually pretty decent. He is only 55%, so I do have a lot of respect for how well he did. But yeah, overall he was okay. He wasn't necessarily the greatest, but he did a pretty decent job. And I think overall he was really, really solid. And he tanked well enough, which is pretty much all you need. Also pretty helpful during the interface, so respect that. Plus we can use his active skill should we need to. Then we have Super Saiyan 3 Goku. This guy is the Otherworld Warriors lead. We could have actually we could have run him, except for the fact that he wouldn't have covered the friend lead. So that was obviously the big issue, which is why we chose Paikuhan. Because Paikuhan obviously at least gives the friend lead that 130%. So for the most part they were running pretty high. Super Saiyan 3 Goku does fine, but you definitely need dupes in him. You 100% need dupes in him. He's very solid once he transforms, but if your health starts to get low, remember he doesn't have the ability to evade in the final phase of the fight. So you are kind of in a very tight situation. This physical stage here is going to be the biggest test of you and your team, because of the fact that Goku can rely on his evasion a little bit, but he will get absolutely slaughtered by physical Vegeta. So this is probably the most challenging portion of the fight, because the Goku, the Super Saiyan God Goku and Vegeta, they generally just rip through the final phase. So for me, this is the hardest part of the fight. Generally I do transform them here. That additional offensive output is really, really important, and it really, really helps in terms of getting rid of physical Vegeta, which is, like I said, probably the most challenging part overall. Now we do have one final Goku, and that is the Super Saiyan 3 Tech Goku. There's nothing wrong with him, actually. He's pretty good. I only have him at 55%, which is why he maybe doesn't do as well here as people would like. But he's pretty solid. 130% attack and defense. Attack and defense of 30% per Rainbow Orb as well. But yeah, generally speaking, he does a pretty good job. I would say if you have a dupe in him or two dupes in him, you're going to have a much better time than I do. He was a little bit of a liability for me, but it's more just because he's only at 55%. There's nothing really wrong with the unit in general. I wouldn't disregard how good he is. I think he's really good, and if you've got a dupe in him, you're going to be seeing a lot more different. You're going to be seeing a lot better unit than I did. So I think yeah, overall pretty solid stuff. For me, the team runs really smoothly. There's nothing too wonky about it, just the link sets, which once you set up the rotations, don't matter too much. Super Saiyan 3 Goku I would worry about. Physical Gogeta I would worry about a little bit. Obviously we've now skipped ahead, so you can notice that. In terms of alternative units, you've got like the physical Frieza, great option. Obviously a lead for the category. He's really, really strong as well. And if you have the Tech Frieza, the Tech Final Form Frieza, he and the physical one make a really dope pairing, because obviously they share a lot of links. The Tech one reduces damage received, which is pretty good overall. Like, he looks really, really solid. So I think for the most part he looks really, really good, and I would say you could run that pairing together on this team. Obviously your big issue is you can't run the friend lead if you run them, but I mean they are a great alternative option. Similarly, the AGL Cell, although I do find that you need dupes in him. AGL Cell I think is really solid as a unit, the one that stacks, but you definitely need dupes in him because he's entirely dependent on key spheres. So if you don't have dupes in him, yeah, you're kind of out of luck. You're not going to have such a great time. But yeah, those are pretty much the most notable options. I think everything else is not too great, if I'm honest. It's a very limited pool of characters. which isn't surprising, but it is definitely very, very limited. But yeah, you're welcome to try whichever one you want. Obviously, we finish off Vegeta with the active skill, which is great. We would have finished him off anyway with one of the attacks, but yeah, overall was a pretty clean run. I would say it's definitely was challenging. Yeah, there's no need to deny that. It was definitely quite a challenging run. Took me a while to get the pieces together, and yeah, I've tried a couple times without yeah, using the friend lead system, but it was just a bit too difficult, especially since I don't have physical Frieza, who I think is a very, very strong piece for this. But yeah, that's it from me, guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, leave a like or leave a comment and I'll get back to you. Otherwise, I'll see you guys in the next one. So until then, take care, stay safe, and bye.